What's going on, guys? It's Philmington from West Wilmington, joined by Jeff Airtime Cards live.
What's up, YouTube? Jeff Airtime here.
Phil,
what's going on, guys?
From West Wilmington, joined by Jeff Airtime.
All right.
You hear that? You hear the echo?
Yeah. What's going on? All right, little technical difficulties. I think we got rid of the echo now.
Good. One,
so
two,
Phil,
three.
how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been pretty rainy here in New England over the last few weeks. I've been supposed to, actually, I was going to make a video of it, but I've been starting to work on this retaining wall. So I started to demo it yesterday, but when it rains 6 out of 7 days, I mean, how much work can you really get done?
Yeah, it's a mudslide waiting to happen. Hey, Jake, how you doing, man? Baseball card kid, Tom DePaulo.
What's going on, guys?
Pepino in here earlier. I don't know what happened to Pepino.
I thought he was supposed to work today. Doesn't he work?
I don't know. Are the Dodgers home, or are they starting a series away? Dodgers are in Cincinnati. I guess Pepino is off.
Oh, that makes sense. I thought they'd fly him out there and make him work for 50 cents on the dollar.
You know, we should have scheduled this better, Phil. We got the PGA on here, and Brooks Koepka is just dominating 11 under. I know you don't care, but I don't see baseball collector in here. Brooks Koepka is the man, and his cards, yes, golf cards, are going through the roof, Phil. That might be something for you to get in on.
I might think about it. Man. So how about those Red Sox? I'm looking at the standings right now. Looks like we are 23 and 20. We won 8 of the last 10. We're only 3.5 games behind the Yankees, 4 games out of first. You think the Red Sox might win the division? I know you're pretty bullish on Tampa Bay before.
Well, it's funny how much in a week, 2 weeks, things can change. Chris Sale's got his velocity back, 17 strikeouts his last game. And Glasnow going on the shelf is just, as you know, I'm a huge Glasnow fan, and him going on the shelf with shaking his arm with a tender forearm, you pretty much, that's usually a precursor to Tommy John surgery. So I know a couple of our MP Fox, a couple of our Tampa fans are really holding their breath down there in Tampa, and with the Yankees just can't get out of their own way with injuries, it might be the Red Sox division to take again this year. It's looking like.
Yeah. Hi, what's going on? Oh, Mike O's here. Wow. Figured he'd have something better to do this time. Just kidding, Mike. All right, we got Great Lakes Breaks.
Triple Crown 24.
Yeah, JDD.
My man Derek, Wicked Discount. Yes, nice hat.
Pittsburgh, Wicked Family for life.
Nice shirt too. Wicked Discounts right here. Bradley Moore, how you doing, man? There's Pepino. Yeah, the Dodgers are in Cincinnati, so Pepino is off tonight.
All right, so I'm gonna start this off. I got a trivia question for you guys. I'm giving away a very expensive card. Austin Meadows rookie card. This guy is breaking out, and look at that. This is grading worthy. Dead centered, as Blue Jacket 66 would say. And all you have to do, this is a really easy trivia question. And you have to put both in your answer, by the way, in the same line of your response. Who is the all-time major league leader for RBIs in a season, and what was the total number of RBIs he had in that season?
Hey, C Advocate, how you doing, my man?
Card Tech 710. Guy pulled a gold Arenado. He went tit for tat with you. You got the gold Mookie live.
Mike O, seems to me you should be out in that garage working on that bitch.
Mike O, I'm pretty sure you're wrong. You want to verify that, Jeff?
I think he's half right.
Come on, somebody Google this real quick.
Jack Wilson.
Jack Wilson is incorrect.
Bernie Mac.
All right, we'll give it to him. Hack Wilson. 191. Sorry, Mike. Guess you're not that much of a baseball fan. Austin Meadows. Look at this. This guy actually could be pristine worthy. I don't know if the live stream quality is that good. It's probably like 720p, but that one's going out to you. So you can just
The
email me
correct
at,
answer was it was 191, right?
yeah, it was 191.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually thought it was 190 as well, but I guess Mike must have missed that last game where he got that last big base knock. All right, so what the hell's going on with Bryce Harper? Since Mike O's here, maybe he can shed some light on that too. But I know you're somewhat of a Phillies fan, right? Probably fair weather, Jeff. But
Yeah. You know, it was funny. We were just talking for a few minutes before we went on air, and you were telling me Bryce Harper leads in strikeouts, and you said Mike Trout leads in walks, but I said I thought maybe Bryce Harper led in walks too. I know he's striking out a ton, but the one saving grace for him is he's getting on base. He is walking a whole hell of a lot. Not hitting the ball, that's for damn sure.
he's just so streaky, and he's always been this way. He'll put up half his year's worth of counting stats in like 5 to 6 weeks, and then he'll do nothing. So like, I don't know what it's like to be a real life fan, but to be like a fantasy owner of a guy like that in like a weekly league head to head, like that's got to be pretty. And if walks don't count, if it's not a points league, like that's not very fun.
Yeah,
You know, a lot of
not too many fantasy leagues are counting walks. Mike's mentioning when he slid into the wall, he's kind of had a balky knee the last week or so. They're downplaying it, but I mean, who knows? It could be a factor. I just think he's pressing too hard. And as former Philly manager Charlie Manuel always says, once it warms up, it's hitting weather. I think he's going to be fine. But for right now, fantasy owners of Harper have got to be punching the wall because it's quite frustrating watching him chase just about everything.
Yeah, similar to like Giancarlo last year, maybe. Except that was like a full year of sucking. You know, at least Bryce Harper started out real hot. But like, yeah, just like trying too hard with the new team, and you know the potential's there. Just hopefully the per game averages are there too at the end of the year, but we'll see. Pete Alonso looks like he's come back down to earth. Might still be the front runner to win National League Rookie of the Year. I don't think Chris Paddock's going to get the innings that he'll need to win that award. As much as he wants to take down Alonso in that way, I don't think it's up to him. What do you think of Pete Alonso? His hobby was going nuts for a while, and I'm sure it still is fairly high. But I know his Bowman Chrome autograph was going for about double what Alex Bregman's was, and I think that's crazy. Bregman's
that's because he's the shiny new toy. I mean, obviously, in the long run, it's going to be Bregman, but Alonso's the shiny new toy. I mean, he's for real. The only thing I think that can hurt him is that Mets lineup. There's little reason really to give him anything good to hit because the rest of the lineup really just is not hitting. And now with Conforto going down for at least a week due to the concussion, supporting lineup is really not that great.
Yeah, because they had a pretty hot lineup at the beginning. I mean, I guess Cano was hitting the ball well. Now he's not. Like you said, Conforto, that's a huge loss. If you look at his underlying stats, this was the year that the stars were supposed to align for him. I mean, last year he throw away the first couple months coming back from shoulder surgery, but I mean he's got like a 400 OBP still, decent amount of power. I think he's got the potential to hit for a decent average. So that's just too bad. So yeah, that Great Lakes breaks brings up a good point. Name a player who has done better since getting a lot of money. I mean, yeah, Jacoby Ellsbury certainly didn't. Rob certainly didn't. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that happens with most contracts. But then again, on the you look at Mike Trout. I mean, he signed a $400 million deal, and there's nothing stopping him. This side of Christian Yelich, still the best player in baseball.
Yeah, Max Scherzer, that was a great signing. I remember at the time, analysts were saying, "Well, why didn't they just re-sign Jordan Zimmerman? I mean, he's pretty much the same exact pitcher for 2/3 of the cost." And then that analyst was proven way wrong. So,
yeah. So, any other hot rookie? I saw in a video, it might have been your most recent one or two back, where one of the cards you showed off was the Keston Hiura rookie card, the second baseman for the Brewers. Depending on what's going on with Travis Shaw, he might be here to stay. The kid's got good power, good speed, puts the bat on the ball. What do you think of Keston Hiura moving forward?
I mean, based on his first game, I haven't seen his performance since then, but he's definitely a guy that can make contact and pretty good contact for a second baseman. And you look at the shallowest position in fantasy baseball, year in, year out, aside from catcher, it's usually second base. So I don't know what his power potential is. I know in AAA he had like 10 or 11 dingers, I think, but he's kind of a small guy, or he looks it. He's listed here at 5'11", 190, but I think he could be valuable from a fantasy perspective. Probably close to Nick Senzel level, depending on what you think of him. What about you, Jeff? What do you think?
Wow. Well, since Senzel, he's really surprised me. I mean, I knew he had the power, but he's shown a little bit more speed than I thought he had. So that could definitely be a fantasy asset moving forward with him. But since we're on the topic of young middle infielders, the new Kansas City Royals second baseman, Nicky Lopez, the Royals, I believe, are intent on keeping him there at second base. They moved Whit Merrifield to the outfield to stay, and Nicky Lopez isn't a name a lot of people are familiar with, but I think they're going to in the coming weeks. Willems Astudillo is a lot of people's favorite guy to collect just because of his name and the way he looks. But he's a really good bat on the ball guy, and this Nicky Lopez might even be better. He does not swing and miss. In his first 3 games, he's 6 for 11 with only 1 strikeout and 3 walks. He's got a little bit of speed, a little bit of pop. He's pretty much your poor man's Whit Merrifield. So he's someone to watch and even target in the baseball card world if you're prospecting. So Nicky Lopez is a guy to watch both in fantasy and baseball cards for me.
Yeah, I like that move or that name, Jeff. And I know a lot of people talk about Oscar Mercado. He's more of a pure speed prospect, but he doesn't really have the same hit tool as Nicky Lopez. He doesn't have the plate recognition, K to walk ratio, stuff like that. So if you're going to bet on a guy to stay around for a while, it's going to be Nicky Lopez. And that's on a team that runs a lot too.
Yeah.
And I'm looking
at your Mercado real quick. The one thing I'd say he's got really going for him is that Cleveland outfield needs some help. So if he hits it all, I think he's going to stay in that lineup. Yeah. Hey, Scotty Tradition, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm looking at Keston Hiura, and I saw Scotty's comment about how he's been hitting for more power, and he's going to continue to ascend. He believes. I'm looking at his K rate in AAA this year and how that compares to the rest of his career. 27.2%. I mean, that's a little bit on the high side for AAA. I mean, if he stayed at 27% in the majors or hovered around 25, even like 28-ish, I think that's fine. But I mean, once you cross over 30, which is where he's at right now, and it's only been 3 games, but it's going to be really hard to maintain a decent batting average unless you have a ridiculous batting average balls in play.
But again, it's not like yesteryear where strikeouts hold you back. I mean, everyone and their brother is striking out at alarming rates now. So, even we touched on Yoan Moncada a little bit before we went on, and his strikeout total, I forget what you told me it was, and I wasn't surprised by it because even though he's putting up big numbers, power numbers, hitting for average, he's still striking out a lot. So even the best of them are even the best players around now are going to strike out a lot. So I wouldn't be too much alarmed by the K rate.
Yeah, no, you're right. And Javi Baez, he's a great example of that. He's putting up, I think he proved us a little bit wrong, at least over the first 6 weeks of the season. I mean, he's got 54 strikeouts right now. So that puts him on pace for about
point right there. Yeah.
Yeah, 326 average, 360 on base, 611 slugging, 11 home runs. I mean, we thought that the star player was Chris Bryant and maybe Anthony Rizzo, but it looks like Javier Baez is running that team. So, and Pepino, man, said we're too focused. All right, so we need to stop being so focused. Here's time for another trivia question.
We're in the zone, Pepino. We're in the zone.
In the zone. All right, who? Oh, I gotta say what this is for. Cody Bellinger. I got a $2 sign on it because that's what I was trying to sell it at my shows. But Cody Bellinger, 2017 Bowman paper card. This thing is pack fresh. All right, so for this, who leads the league in doubles in 2019? Major leagues.
Doubles.
You're gonna have to Google this one.
Well, while we're waiting for the answer on that, Phil, I know I already ruined this. Can you believe who the major league leader is in ERA? I'm not going to waste anyone's time on this because this is, you know what? You know who might know? Mike O might know because he just shut our Phillies down yesterday. Yeah, Zach Davies leads the league in ERA with 1.54, and he just made our lineup look stupid. I think I could go out there and throw a gem against this lineup, but Zach Davies.
Yeah, Scotty Tradition knew that. And
yeah, of course, yeah, Scotty would know, yeah.
I would have given him this Jem Griffey, but he spelled Zach wrong, so sorry, buddy. Just kidding, Scott. You the man.
Scotty, enjoy it while it lasts. That ERA is on its way up. He's doing it with smoke and mirrors.
So speaking of regression candidates, did anybody get it yet? Probably not. Speaking of regression candidates, what do you think of Josh Bell? He's like top 15 in the league in fantasy points by most leagues measures. I think his exit velocity is like 95, average exit velocity, which is like top 90 or 95th percentile. He's making a lot of hard contact. His home runs, I saw one the other day that was 473 feet or something. Yeah. It was in the whatever you call it, ravine in Pittsburgh. He's walking a lot. He's not striking out a lot. He's improved his launch angle and he's made a concerted effort to do so. So the fly ball rate kind of makes sense. And, I don't know. What do you think?
I think Josh Bell is for real. Mike Go just sold some PSA 10s. Derek thinks that he's on some juice, but you know what it is? And I believe it might have been on MLB Tonight a couple nights ago. They did a good breakdown of his swing, and he's really standing upright this year in compared to years past. And he's clearing his hips, which is just giving him an amazing swing path to the ball. So that goes towards your exit velocity theory. I mean, he's just killing the ball. So, I mean, his average I don't think is sustainable. But as far as how hard he's hitting the ball, I think his power is for real. He's tweaked his swing to really turn himself into a next level player.
Yeah, 12 home runs right now, 325 average, 394 on base, 675 slugging. Puts his OPS close to 1,100 right now in the early season. He's already got 39 RBIs, 18 walks to 40 strikeouts. Yeah, I think he's definitely going to break out and maybe even be a dark horse MVP candidate, depending on Bellinger and Yelich. Those two will be difficult to surpass, and of course, it helps if your team makes it to the playoffs, which he won't have.
Sounds like Pepino had a little bit of backup, so we'll leave that one alone. Triple B Cards mentions Byron Buxton. I mentioned him at the end of our last podcast.
He's the answer. That's the answer to the trivia question.
Oh, wow. Okay. I love Byron Buxton. I mean, power and speed. Is he really the league leader in doubles?
Yeah, I guess so. That's probably bodes well for his chance of turning it around. Maybe he's a little underrated right now. Probably striking out a ton still, but
he just hit his second home run yesterday. I think a lot of them doubles will turn into home runs.
What's going on, Shamrock?
Triple B says 18 doubles. Is that what his total is? Yeah. He's legit. Obviously, card collectors have been waiting for him to break out for a few years, ever since he was the #1 pick. And, this might be the year.
Yes, it might be indeed. Hey, so what do you think about Luis Castillo? Seems like he's taking the league by storm, putting it all together.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this to you maybe when we did our preview of the season. The guy's fastball plays. He reminds me a lot of the Luis Severino, but his changeup has just been unhittable. It's been devastating, just dropping out of the zone. Yesterday, he gave up a couple first inning runs to the Cubs. I'm like, all right, this is the day where he comes back to earth. and I think he went on to retire like 17 of the next 18 batters before the rain delay. So, I mean, and the Cubs are no slouch of a lineup. So, it looks like he's for real. Just sucks that he pitches for the Reds because they're not gonna support him a whole heck of a lot.
Yeah. Chris Paddock, different case. Maybe he has slightly, or he has a better lineup when Tatis gets healthy, and he's got Reyes behind him, Hosmer, and a few
pitching into pitcher's park also. And
right.
I think I first really he came onto the Storm in both the fantasy sense and the baseball card sense in his game against the Mets about a week and a half ago, where he just dominated that lineup towards the end of I think he pitched well into the 8th inning, and he was throwing 98 in the 8th inning. So I think that opened up a lot of eyes because he really wasn't a highly regarded prospect. But what he's done so far is just crazy.
This stuff is filthy. People questioned, how good his fastball was. People questioned if, whether he'd develop a third pitch, and he's throwing his curveball about 10% of the time. I don't know how good his curveball is yet. I think he's still got to throw it more and develop more command of the curveball. And I don't know. But I was so close to splurging on one of his Bowman Chrome autographs. There was a gold, and a guy wanted a lot. And we were $25 off, 850 or something he wanted. And then I'm thinking to myself, I just sold an orange Trevor Bauer Bowman Chrome first year auto, graded 9.5 at a show for like $375. So oranges are numbered to 25. So, why would I spend that much on, it's almost like in Josh Bell's case, same thing. I just missed it by 2 or 3 days. They were within the range of what I thought was affordable and a good price and still have room for growth. But then, these guys move fast. Josh Bell had a 4-for-4 day with 2 home runs, and then it was too late. And then Paddock, sometimes I have to remind myself, you never want to buy a guy after his best game of the season, especially in Paddock's case. Everybody started to notice him after that start, like you said, against the Mets. People are comparing him to Jose Fernandez. This is the guy that Walker Buehler was supposed to be. This is going to be the next Jose Fernandez, the next dominant young pitcher.
I know you got hung with a few Jose Fernandez. Do you still have them, or did you just unload them?
I got rid of a lot of them for cheap. I probably still have a few. Taijuan Walker is another one. Yordano Ventura. Back in 2014, I bought a lot of pitchers. Like you, Jeff, I've always thought that I can scout pitchers pretty well, and maybe even better than hitters in some cases. But with pitchers come along a lot of risk.
I think that's the case because minor leagues, when they're coming up, their stuff plays. If a guy's throwing 98 and he's got a good breaking ball, that's going to translate to the major leagues. Where I think hitters are a little hit and miss. Mike Trout didn't dominate the minor leagues. I think pitchers are much easier to forecast than I do hitters. Scotty's talking. You know what, Scotty? You better hope Zach Davies doesn't pitch on a windy day, because it looks like a stiff wind might blow him over and put him out for a while.
Yeah,
and some might go agrees.
In some cases, you have pitchers that have the stuff but then can't put it all together. So an example of that would be like Michael Pineda. Yordano Ventura is another one. So they have that K to walk ratio, but they're having that tough time third time through the lineup, or maybe they just can't limit the long ball. Maybe they can't limit the long inning, the really low strand rates, and become quite frustrating. And plus, with pitchers, you always have that built-in discount of their value. It's not whether they've been
shorter shelf life.
Yeah, and it's not whether they've been injured already this season or in the past. There's a chance that they could be injured in the next few years. It's not till you reach that Max Scherzer, Clayton Kershaw, even Chris Sale trajectory where it's like these guys are going to be Hall of Famers unless something really, really, really crazy happens. But until the player reaches those heights, until Max Scherzer, I'm guessing 2016, 2017, that's when his hobby started to peak up. Okay, this guy's a pretty safe bet to be a Hall of Famer. But guys like Trevor Bauer, who breaks out at age 27, he's never going to reach that. Jacob deGrom, he was a late bloomer. Just look at Noah Syndergaard. He had the filthiest stuff in a game by most people's standards, and then his hobby's taken a hit because he's gone like 4 or 5 seasons with has he gone over 200 innings once in any of those seasons? I don't know.
Yeah, I think
Looking at
Mets
like
fans are really getting growing frustrated with him. I mean, obviously the velocity lights up the scoreboard, but for whatever reason, he's not. Yeah, he might be one of them players that he wants to look good rather than go out and get wins like Jake DeGrom. So I think that's why a lot of Met fans are growing impatient with Syndergaard.
Great Lakes breaks. Maybe we already lost him. Maybe, but he said he was grabbing dinner. But he's going to be opening up his rookie card explosion box on tape tonight, so that'll be cool to watch. There's been a lot of good pulls. I think maybe 8, either 6 or 8. I've counted Cody Bellingers already out of the 2017 products, which is crazy. I guess 2017 update featured him like 3 or 4 times, which is part of the reason why. But yeah, guys, I'm going to announce it here. You're hearing it here first. I am officially expanding production of the Rookie Card Explosion Box, starting with Volume 6 on June 15th. We are moving up to 108 boxes per month.
Whoa, big announcement.
72, yeah. So 67 subscriptions is what I have now. I've only lost 1 subscriber. That was on March 15th. Everybody seems to like the product. Once in a while people get skunked with a bad break, but people they know that's part of the experience. There's always going to be that chance that you just don't pull anything great, but they stick in there, and I appreciate them for that. They like the quality, the quantity, and the variety, I guess, of what I'm providing. So
hey, even when there's not a great pull in there, I mean, it makes a hell of a YouTube video. So I mean, at the very least, you make a great video with breaking them.
And that is the part of this that I underestimated as I was beginning to execute this plan, this innovation, was how much other people would look forward to watching other people breaking these on YouTube. So
yeah,
there's some YouTubers out there with over 1,000 subscribers, and their breaks of my explosion box, if you look at views, like I don't know if retention
are one of their more successful videos. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. In some cases,
I enjoy watching all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, in some cases like double the views, which is crazy. So that's obviously helped me in a lot of ways, directly because people buy the product when they see other people open them.
Any chance you're going to slip some Pokemon wax into there? But Pepino's interested.
So Pokemon wax, not at this time. I only know a lot about the first edition set back in '99. I know nothing about modern Pokemon. But no, not at this time. A lot of people have asked me if I'd be willing to do basketball, football, and the answer is no, and it's not going to change. And it's just because there's a learning curve with other sports. I wouldn't know which products to buy, when to buy them, where to buy them, which players to target. I don't even know. Baseball, because me and you are big time fantasy baseball gamers. We're kind of always scouting, so we kind of know like which players and products kind of target. It's a little more natural to us. Yeah, and the other part of it is if people were breaking the rookie card explosion box and it was football, I wouldn't want to watch. It just wouldn't be as fun. And this isn't something that I'm making a ton of money on. So the fun factor has to be there, or else I wouldn't do it. So,
and I mean, what you got going for, I mean, baseball and just Ricky Russo isn't going to be happy with this, but baseball card videos are just, I think they get views like, I'd say the ratio is like 3-to-1 to basketball or football. I know, God knows I've tried to in golf or NASCAR. No one's watching that. And not a whole heck of a lot more are watching football and basketball. It just seems like, I mean, I love like Scotty Tradition, who just has incredible football cards. I love seeing those high-end rookie cards, especially the vintage. But watching a football break, for me, I don't think I could do it.
Yeah, that's interesting you bring that up. I never really thought of it that way. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the core of the YouTube collectors and the core of this community, they're usually connected or affiliated to baseball in some way. It's either their primary sport or it's something that they open and maybe infrequently, but it's definitely the dominant force. Actually, Scotty Tradition, he does have a sick collection, and I was surprised. I talked to Scott sometimes on Facebook, And he told me that he's thinking about trading his collection with Zombie Collector, just like straight swap, no cash involved, just like. And I was like, "You sure?" Like Zombie Collector has like oddball items. I don't know if he has anything high end. Like probably doesn't have any Bart stars, and he's thinking about it.
Yeah, and Mike O makes a great point. A lot of the kids on you know YouTube, a large percentage is kids videos, and which is why I do my Sunday morning trivia. I love getting the kids some cards out there they might not otherwise get. But yeah, a lot of them are kids, and for some reason, the kids are really into baseball. They're into football and basketball too, to an extent, but I don't know. It's just been my experience where baseball just seems to be a little bit more popular with them.
Right. Okay. I think this is time for the third trivia question. All right. So this one. So Cal Ripken holds the record for most games ever played by a major leaguer. Number 2 is Lou Gehrig. How many games played does Lou Gehrig have? How many games has he played in?
Total, or how long his streak was?
That's actually that's a good, meaningful differentiator. Just total games. That's what I said. And the winner gets this: Carlos Gonzalez, Bowman Chrome, first year. This is a really sweet card. This probably isn't. It's not really valuable enough to submit to PSA, but it actually could fetch a 9 or a 10.
So games total played in Lou Gehrig's career.
All right.
So while they're pondering or Googling that one, Phil, I got one for you. Who leads the Major League Baseball with a 4.01 batting average? Any guesses on that one?
Oh, I just had it up. Is it Tommy La Stella?
He's up there surprisingly, but no, freaking Cody Bellinger is still batting 400.
Dude,
crazy. And you know what? I couldn't have been more wrong about him. I said his big swing is not going to lead to a high batting average, but God, I couldn't have been more wrong on that one.
I know. Clearly not sustainable, but I mean, this is a real breakout right here. The guy had a really good season 2 years ago. He got better as the season went on. He limited his strikeouts, and last year was just like a lost season, and that happens sometimes. And people maybe forgot, but he was like 23 last year.
Yeah, and I mentioned this. I think the playoffs just ruined me to him because he was just swinging and missing everything by a foot. So I think after that, I was completely off the Cody Bellinger fandom.
Yeah, I remember one time B.J. Upton had a really nasty postseason run with Tampa Bay, and the next season he's getting drafted in like the second round, and he was just such a bust. That was before we understood the sabermetrics, like batting average, balls in play. Like, okay, his average
yeah.
It doesn't make contact enough. So
Garrett Cole leading Major League Baseball with 86 strikeouts, showing why he was the former number 1 pick overall.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy what a change of scenery can do.
The league is littered with former Pirates all over the place, just killing it. But poor Bob Lewis, Derek Wickett, you guys have really been tortured with all of your former players around baseball, just killing it elsewhere.
So Mike O says some dumbass, and I actually had to show that comment. It got filtered. Some dumbass was selling Topps Chrome Update rookies in an online sale for $4. They were $20 on eBay the following week. Oh, was that you, Mike? Is that the joke? All right. So Sox Rocks finally tapped into Google. I don't even know what the answer is. Is that the right answer?
Remind me never to have you sub in for my Sunday morning trivia.
Oh, sorry, Mike. Jeez. Yeah, Mike. I see with Mike's auction, I'll pay attention to it, and I have the intention of bidding. And in some cases, I'll like write down like a couple of players that I want that people pass on. But like for me, I'm always thinking about cost, and like for me to swallow the initial $4 shipping cost, I have to like justify it with multiple purchases. So if I saw like one other card or one other lot that I wanted, I would have been like, okay, I'll take like these 20 cards. But I was close. But Triple Crown 24 was kinder to me because he didn't have as much competition. So and but yeah, any live auctions that people do, if they're mainly baseball cards, I'll definitely join those and have fun time doing it. I wish I had the ability to go live on my mobile device and do auctions myself. Maybe someday I'll be able to do that. That'd be cool. Oh yeah, not a lot of Philmington type stuff. Yeah, I mean, so today I picked up a bunch of Matt Chapman 2017 Topps Update rookies. I think, at one point they were like $3 a piece. Now they're like, I think I got them at like $4.50 on eBay. ComC has them at like $8.25 plus. Matt Chapman, he's having a pretty good season, although it's quiet. It's not flashy yet, but I think he's shown that last year wasn't a fluke. 950 OPS, second half. One of the best defenders in the game. He was the best defender in the game last year, voted, and still very young. And he's probably going to end up on the Yankees, just like every other player. What do you think
Definitely
about Matt?
an MVP candidate for sure. I know my buddy Eric, Oakland A's 915, has a nice little Matt Chapman PC going. But it's a shame that Billy Beane and the A's just have to pretty much just rebuild the roster every few years. But give them credit, they make the necessary moves and are always in the conversation come September.
Right.
Your boy Lucas Giolito, Phil. I always was breaking your stones earlier in the year, but he's actually having a pretty decent season. I think last time out he went 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run. He's starting to make some inroads. So those high-end cards of his you have, you might be able to move them for a decent, for maybe not quite the profit you anticipated when you picked them up, but it might not be a lost cause. Is what I'm trying to say with the Giolitos.
Yeah, I made sure not to pick up Giolito on any of my fantasy teams because I'm already overexposed to him from a baseball card perspective. So I have 2 of his Bowman Chrome autos. One of them is a BGS 9.5, the other one's a 10, pristine. Both with 10 autos. One's an orange, the other one's a gold. So yeah, spent a lot on them, and I tried to sell them at my show. I had stickers on them, like trying to take like $50 hit on each of them, and this is before he's really dominated over the last like 3 weeks, like last 4 starts or so. Swinging strike rate is way up, way above what he did in the past. Velocity was an issue where like as of like 3 years ago, he lost the velocity on his fastball like 2 or 3 miles an hour, which is significant.
Yeah.
More so for a reliever, but even for a starting pitcher, especially one that young. And I mean, he's got to rely on that a little bit to set up his changeup. And I saw one of his starts last year, and he was going against the Red Sox, and he made us look so bad. We had the best offense in the league probably last year, and I thought, I trust my eye. This is good stuff, but he just had no consistency with it. Now we're seeing multiple starts in a row. But as we talked before the show started, Jeff, you got to strike while the iron's hot. So I have both those Giolitos right now listed on eBay. You can look them up. User ID Philmington. Instead of the orange one, I have listed at like 600, and I was trying to get like 200, 250 for it. I have it listed at 600 or best offer. The gold I've listed at 900 or best offer. That one I was trying to get like 275 for. So who knows? One more start. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
I know based on my experiences, I sold my red Trevor Bauer when it was during his no-hitter. I mean, he had 6 walks. It was the 7th inning, and he had 117 pitches. But somebody, buy now or best offer, and they just bought it now, fixed price, no negotiation. So you never know with pitchers.
The baseball card market definitely can fluctuate in a matter of weeks and on eBay, but I'm not going to go into a long diatribe on this, but golf. Brooks Koepka, I'm setting the market on this. I have a guy on eBay who emailed me this morning, and he was mad at me because I have the only 2 graded autograph Brooks Koepka SI Kid rookie cards on eBay, and I doubled the price. I had him at $1,000. He's killing it at the PGA, and it's so I doubled him to 2,000. And the guy emailed me. He was mad at me that I upped the price, and he offered me $1,250 for it. So he's mad that I upped the price, but I mean, you know, his raw card is now going for $150, whereas 2 weeks ago, a lot of 10 of them sold for $330. So a lot of 10 2 weeks ago sold for $33 a piece. And right now, last night, I sold one for $150. So golf, even more so than baseball, from week to week, just fluctuates like crazy. And the people on eBay get mad when you change the prices on them. I guess he had it on his watch list, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to go get it for $1,000." And then he goes on and clicked on it, and I had already raised it to $2,000. But it's funny how much, you know, from day to day. Before the tournament started, you know, the prices were essentially doubled on someone like that. It's just crazy. I mean, baseball does it to an extent, but I think it's over more of a longer gradual time. Vladdy Guerrero, I know you kind of cornered the market on that one. What was it? Was it a Heritage where you bought them all up on eBay?
Yeah.
But I know his prices are a little bit down right now because he's got off to a slow start. But if he hits 4 home runs in a week, I know a week from now, them prices are going to go up 30, 40%, just like that.
Yes. Yeah. And golf probably has an additional variable of more limited supply versus baseball. But yeah, the Vlad card purchased like 13 or 14 of the PSA 10s of the 2017 Heritage short print Vlad. Total PSA population is around like 110. But right now there are none on ComC, none on eBay except for myself. So it gives you the advantage of being able to kind of set the price when you are the majority shareholder until somebody undercuts me, which is, you know, very possible. And I think it's also an underrated card. So I didn't just do it to artificially, you know, manipulate the markets or anything like that. But Vlad's a guy we should probably discuss. So was struggling really badly. Batting average was below the Mendoza line. What was it? Two or 3 days ago? Maybe 3 or 4 days ago, he had 2 450-foot home runs.
They were both like, rockets.
Yeah,
were rockets.
It might not have looked that way to like a casual fan, but to hit a ball out that deep,
center field.
5 throws, center field, dead center in San Francisco, like that's very difficult. And then I think yesterday he had he hit a line drive out 116 miles per hour, and that was like the 11th recorded fastest hit or hardest hit ball based on exit velo this year. So he's starting to come around to the ball.
Yeah, I know he's been struggling, but with the way he hits the ball, I really don't think there's any. I think the only thing that'll slow him down, and we're talking years down the road, is his body type, and I think a move to first base would serve him justice. I really think he's as low risk as you can get in terms of baseball anyway.
But long-term wise, that's either a yellow flag or might even be a red flag, though, the weight thing. I mean, Vlad, people will say like, oh, well, you know, similar body types. They both had big hips and big legs, but that's not necessarily the case. I mean, I'm sure if you saw a picture of Vlad with his shirt off at age 21, 22, he would have a little bit more lean muscle on him, even though he did have a big ass at that time and similar swing. But, you know, they're two different players. I mean, there's a shot that shows like everybody's born with a different body type. And if you looked at baby pictures and compared the two, and I remember seeing little Vlad Jr. on the he was like holding his dad's hand, like I forget what stadium it was, but maybe in Montreal. So maybe as a 2 or 3 year old, he's holding his daddy's hand on the field, and he just looks like a very chubby, unathletic kid. But he was only 2 or 3. But still, I mean, but short term wise, let's not like take away from that. I mean, the next 5 years, I'm extremely bullish on what he can do. Analysts are talking about how he's getting pitched tougher than anybody else in baseball. So not only is he getting the fewest pitches,
his reputation definitely
on the corner. He's getting nothing in the sweet spot. So, and you know, maybe you could say the same with Acuna last year, and he was able to hit through it right away, but I really doubt it. I mean, this guy he's a generational type talent.
Acuna in the second half, you couldn't get him out last year. I know, because in fantasy, I traded him pretty much the week that he broke out. I think he hit a home run off of Strasburg, and I traded him while I thought I could get top dollar for him because he just had a great game against Strasburg. But unfortunately for me, good for him, that was the beginning of just a tear that he went on second half of the season. I could definitely see the same type of second half of the season for Vlad for sure. I mean, we're only at the quarter pole now, so he's got more than three-quarters of the season left. So I don't think it'll be long before he turns it around. His skills are just too good.
Right. Yeah, agreed. What do you think about Aaron Nola right now? I know he's having a really underwhelming season.
I don't know, Mike. If you're still there, what do we think about Aaron Nola? He's been frustrating me. I mean, his velocity's there, his wiffle ball curveball, which is really his out pitch, which has made him so successful. To me, it just seems like he's not getting the break on it this year. It's a lot like Corey Kluber's curveball, and we know what's happened to Corey Kluber recently. He hasn't been pitching well either. I don't know. You could attribute it maybe to he's pitched in some bad weather games where it's been cool and wet out. No, he's a Louisiana guy. Of course, he likes to get the sweat going and get a better feel in his pitches. That I don't want to make excuses for him. He's just hasn't been good. Having said that, I have him on my fantasy team, and at some point, obviously, I hope sooner than later, he gets things turned around, and I think he will. I think he will. He has really, really nasty stuff.
Yeah, and it's not like he's injured because his velocity is the same. Mechanics are the same. I think batted ball data is just shitty right now. He's given up a lot of home runs, right? Probably a lot of line drives. I mean, it's not like his walks are up or anything. I mean, they're okay. They're not bad. So if you look at like his fielder independent peripherals, they're pretty strong, I think. What do you think about Jose Ramirez? He's a guy that's been sucking for a while, and I mean,
to me, Ramirez is just a guy. He got behind the 8 ball early when he got hurt, and then he's just been pressing to try to make up for lost time. The Cleveland offense isn't very good. I just think he has a few variables working against him. I know you always talk about his contact rate, which is legit, but maybe it's just bad circumstance for him. I could see him still being a top 50 player in terms of fantasy the remainder of the year, but he was drafted as a top 5, top 10 player. I don't think he's gonna put up those type of numbers.
Yeah, yep, yeah. Somebody actually offered me Jose Ramirez straight up for Trevor Bauer. I have Bauer. I thought about it, and actually, this is before the last couple starts too, where Bauer's been, or is it just the last start where he got lit up real badly? Then he ended up taking down the trade. But and actually, I have Aaron Nola in a league, and somebody's trying to get him and Juan Soto off me for like George Springer.
Yeah, I'll never trade a player when they're not performing well because right. I don't want to sell low. Speaking of trade proposals, I had a really interesting one a couple days ago, and it was about a couple of guys we were just talking about, and I really quickly had to hit reject because I might have been tempted to take it. I have Bryce Harper on my team, so yeah, that's not going too well for him. But he offered me Vladdy Guerrero right after he hit the 2 home runs, and I really had to think long and hard about it because I took Harper. It was I'm thinking around 10 or 11, and of course Vladdy went in the 5th round because he didn't start the season in the majors. But you could make an argument that he's going to perform like a first round of the rest of the year. I'm just not ready to sell on Harper yet. I still think he has it in me. But like I said, I really had to hit that reject button quickly because I was really, really tempted to make that deal. And I see you're contemplating it. That might be a hard deal for you to pass up, huh?
Yeah, well, if you're talking about George Springer, no, it's just because one. So
no, it was for yours, yeah. I mean, yeah. Springer's just been insane this year.
Yeah, and I think for the most part, it's legit. He's had spurts in the past where he's been able to do this, and usually like an injury will happen and derail the rest of the season. So he's a pretty underrated player, actually. If he stays healthy, he's always going to have a great stats. I mean, you're looking at a really good average, run production, RBIs, runs, a few steals, not as many as maybe he did, 5, 6 years ago, but 30 plus home runs. I mean, put it in the bank, right?
Yeah, and then that lineup is just, I'm a big advocate of players playing, if they're a hitter, playing in good hitters' ballparks and with good strong lineups. And he certainly has both those things going for him. I feel sorry. Mike O's got Ramirez in the keeper league, so
Yeah.
I hope for his sake he gets things turned around.
Yeah, so I actually, this is for Michael and Jose Ramirez. So I'm an avid listener of a certain podcast. It's the CBS Fantasy Podcast, and I think right
Oh,
now it's
not Scott White.
Yeah. So Scott White, Chris Towers, Heath Cummings, mostly Scott White. I think he's really good. I think the second best one is probably Chris, and then Heath. He's probably more of a football guy. And then the host of the show actually knows his stuff, so he's able to kind of challenge them when they're like lazy or they don't have the best logic in their argument. And they said, or actually it was Scott White who said that Jose Ramirez, this is the week he snaps out of it. He's got a lot of favorable lineups. I forget if he's playing Baltimore tonight and the rest of the weekend, but I don't know. I know the week's already half over, but walk rate is actually a little bit up. Strikeouts are still down. Said the issues this year versus the end of last season are completely unrelated. So it's not like he's had 3 months in a row where he's struggling with a couple different unique facets of the game. It's just something else. I think last year might have been related to not being able to hit the breaking ball, and this year it's not. So I think actually his average exit velocity is higher this year. Oh, baseball doll. Yeah. Baseball doll.
I was going to leave that one alone.
I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to Baseball Doll. I like giving out shout outs. Actually, there's a new guy on the block. His name is I guess he's Bowman51 told me he's the one that showed me the guy's one of the guy's videos. He's only got 60 subscribers. I think his name's like Tyler Shorts or Tyler Short.
Okay.
And if you can't even search that because there'll be like 20 names that show up all with like I don't know how they do that. Like YouTube has multiple people with the same names.
Yeah.
But same handles. And this guy is like Elite Co 3, except kind of like more money hungry. So he goes into more detail on like the money he makes and his ROI. And he's got like better cards than Elite Co. I don't know how that's possible. He submits more cards to the PSA than Elite Co 3. I don't know how that's possible. He'll show like 200 cards and then he'll be talking about like card trimming in the hobby and whether he thinks that's an issue or not, with like some deep reflections as he's going through cards that he got back from PSA. So the guy he's got a lot of potential. Maybe he's a little too honest and not PC enough for the community yet. So he's getting a few downvotes on his videos, I'm noticing, but the guy is legit.
A little too blunt, huh?
He's a big dealer, and there's not that many people that talk about the selling aspect on YouTube. Everybody here knows that. I mean, I'm one of the few that is somewhat candid, but this guy is very candid. And again, a lot like Elite Co 3, the biggest difference might actually be that I haven't seen him bust any wax. He might not do that, but literally he sends everything to PSA. So
well, I think you yourself, you're one of the few dealers that are on YouTube. I think I'd say, I don't know, 90% of YouTube are not dealers. They're collectors. I'm certainly not a dealer. I, like a lot of other YouTubers, sell on eBay, but I definitely don't consider myself a dealer. So I think that's why a lot of your videos are very successful. People like how forthcoming you are with the prices where you spent to acquire the cards and what your resale is, what you think the potential is, and stuff like that. I know. That was one of the first things that drew me to your channel was when you talked about that stuff.
Really? Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's not that people don't do like the flipping or selling of some sort. I mean, everybody's doing some amount of turning over of cards. Just people don't really talk about it a lot. So I didn't become a dealer until I did my first show. Technically, before that, I was a flipper, which is a lot like what you are.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a gray area. Like, who's really a dealer? Do you have to do a show first, or what if you're just like turning over your inventory a lot? So you can buy like nice cards and maybe.
Yeah, I'm really surprised. and envious of you who can do shows, because to me, with eBay, just like they've kind of really just put a huge hit on LCSs, they've put a huge hit on card shows as well. So I mean, unless you're talking like the national stuff like that, something like that is never going to lose its luster. But in terms of the local show, is it your mall every month? They've just taken huge hits over the years.
Yeah, and dealers sometimes get a bad rap. In some cases, deservedly so. A lot are very shisty, but like the network of people I met in Woburn at the weekly show, like we all love baseball. You know, the show ends early. Whenever there's a Patriots game, these are like sports lovers. What drew me to the hobby wasn't the whole money aspect. It was baseball. As you
Yeah.
know, Jeff, like I love watching baseball. I love the Red Sox. I like going to games. I love fantasy baseball. And hey, baseball cards, and this is nostalgic for me, just like it is for anybody else. So, like for instance, when I go to the National, 90% of my enjoyment factor won't be about making money. It'll be with meeting people from YouTube, and I probably won't even buy anything because I like buying on eBay. And honestly, I like selling on eBay too. It works. And a lot of the times my margins after fees are still better than they would be at shows. And so I'm not going to be out hustling. I might bring like 5 cards in a fanny pack or something to try to see if I can, sell them at a decent price. But, I'm there for the same reasons everybody else.
Joe iPhone, Lone Star. Thanks for jumping on here, guys. You know what about the shows? Let me ask you. Maybe you could help some other people out here. When you go to shows, do you find, or when you're dealing at shows, do you find that you can get better deals like right on that first Friday where the show opens, or more towards like the afternoon on a Sunday where dealers might be trying to move product? Or do you even find a difference?
Is this posed to the crowd or posed to me?
Either. I mean,
Garrison Parkhurst wants a rookie card box bad. Yeah, and with the National specifically, I think it might start on Wednesday. So, but yeah, it's okay. So Mike's got a pretty good opinion here, I bet. Yeah, I've heard that there's not a lot of good deals. That's certainly what I've heard frequently. That's a common theme at the National. And honestly, at the bigger shows, as I've done smaller shows myself, I've done bigger shows, and the smaller shows seem to have slightly better deals than the bigger ones. People seem to mark things up a little bit higher for the bigger shows, which is something I didn't learn until I did my first big show a few weeks ago. Maybe that's why I sold all my stuff the first day, because it was priced too well. But yeah, the National I heard, and I was at Snoop. What's going on, Snoop? I was actually talking to Snoop on the phone a few days about this, and he was saying that at the National, the cost of wax goes down significantly on like the last day. Like they'll be marked.
That's really interesting. All right, I think that's what I was getting at there. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of the times it has to do with like the amount of trucks that they want to bring back to the factory and stuff. But unfortunately, wax is something that I need for my rookie card explosion box business, and I'm always like trying to find ways to obtain it cheaply. Like I should just like rob a warehouse or something, then everybody can get the best packs. I wish I could.
Yeah.
But I'm slowly going to be exploring the route of flea markets, a jab style. Probably not making videos of it, but
they make the best video, and that's why his channel just exploded, really, because taking the viewer along on the journey, I think, is really what people like. And Mike L brings up a great point about the vintage purchasing in a show. And you know what? I'm curious about that. Now, Mike, are you referring to raw cards? Because if you're buying graded on eBay, it really kind of doesn't matter about, you can see the centering, but pretty much people are just looking at whatever the grade on the slab is. So I'm assuming you're talking about the raw versions, which obviously you're going to get it at a much more discounted rate.
Well, not everybody just buys the slab. So like somebody like Blue Jacket 66 would have a big problem with what you just said, because he wants it to be dead centered with the perfect registration. But
I know, but I think he is in the minority. I think a lot of people do just buy the slab. I've been guilty of that in the past. I admit it.
I've sold a decent amount of vintage slab stuff. I'd say centering is very important still. But in colors too. which doesn't always get reflected in the grade. So how bright the colors are, if it's faded or whatnot. But yeah, vintage is interesting, and that's a learning curve that I'm still trying to understand. I'm afraid of buying raw vintage because I feel like I'm going to get hosed. Like somebody who has, it's almost like beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So like with a vintage card, I might look at it and be like, this is a 3, but it's going to be that person that looks at it and is like, wow, this is probably a 7, and they're going to pay that premium for it. So it's like, I don't want to be the guy that subjectively puts a higher value on the card when I don't really know enough to be an expert. So with vintage, I stopped playing with raw. It's just too risky. And people that buy vintage raw with the plan of submitting it to get graded, I feel like 2 of 3 times you will get burned doing
Yeah,
that.
it's a risky proposition.
Yes. Just based on what
I
I've
mean, if
seen.
you want it for your own collection, the authenticity purposes, I understand that. But to flip or make money, I don't think you're going to be successful. It come with egg. You'll see Eggy at the National.
Yeah, what up, Egg? So Mike, what's going on with so I was talking to Snoop on the phone. I don't know what we talked about, but the conversation was like 2 hours and 20 minutes long. And great guy, by the way. And he said that you might be trying to organize a Saturday night, or I guess it would have to be Saturday night, Saturday evening Cubs game watching or something like that. Or maybe that was Friday for the National.
So the Cubbies are home that weekend.
Yeah, they are. And I know there's a casino around town too. And I think Baseball Collector is a big gambler, so I'll have to talk to him about that. And I think Blue Jacket 66 might be trying to plan something on maybe Thursday night, which I won't be around for. But okay, they play daytime. Yeah. So maybe it was maybe Mike, maybe you meant Friday night, or I don't know. But Snoop said that you might be talking about that. He said that he wasn't interested. I was like, well, I've already been at a Cubs game myself too, so I probably wouldn't go. But it's interesting. But yeah, if there's anything going on Friday night, you guys need to keep me in the loop. That would be cool. And I know Jeff, you're not able to come this year, but
I have too many roller coaster excursions planned this summer. Plus, with the wife being sick, but I certainly in 2020, just a stone's throw away. I hope to see a lot of these guys in Atlantic City next year, for sure.
yeah, So Mike does bring up a good point, and a little while back, it's not just slab cards, it's not just raw cards, but the fact that you can see the cards in person. Like I think, like if you ask somebody like Silver Jackify, he probably prefers to make all of his purchases in person. And he has a lot of high end, vintage rookie cards, and just so he can make sure that it's the card he wants. You can see all the stuff that doesn't come across on scans. A lot of times you get a return policy on eBay too, but it's kind of a pain in the ass, and you feel like you're disrespecting the seller sometimes, and you make a return. But this way you can just politely say no and walk away. And some people like the face-to-face negotiation more, even as a buyer. Me personally, I feel bad hurting people's feelings, so I'd rather negotiate on eBay. How do you feel about that, Jeff?
I mean, I agree in the sense that, like, you could buy a slab that's the PSA 9 slab that you want, but the back of the case could have a huge scratch on it, just not something to take away from the card, but just something that irks you a little bit. And then you have to go through the trouble of sending it back. So in that sense, I could definitely see buying in person. But I'm always going to be the one to say, be at the show and then look at my phone and be like, you know what, I could get this cheaper on eBay. So, I mean, I don't know. I really see pros and cons for both.
Yeah, what's going on, Lone Star? I'm actually, because of the explosion box and because I have to like front a lot of wax months in advance, and now we're looking at 108 per month, which means basically 36 pack boxes. I have to buy 3 of them. In a lot of cases, 18 or 24 pack boxes. But bottom line is, I'm trying to shift my collection, my inventory out of singles and into wax. In order to do that, I have to compensate. I have to get rid of something I currently own, which is I'm thinking about, or I just started yesterday actually, trying to sell out of a lot of the vintage cards I own. So over the next few months, I'll be selling.
Those Jackie Robinsons are hitting eBay then, is what I'm gathering.
They haven't hit yet. I sold a few of them at a show. I think I have 2 Jackies left, and like a Clemente rookie. I'll be a little bit more selective with that, but I have some pretty good high end stuff. Pretty much everything but like 2 cards I'm gonna be willing to part with over the next month, I think. And I have to be a little bit more diligent about turning over my modern inventory too. If you've seen some of my like recent mail day videos, I picked up tons of stuff. So even with the show, even with all those sales, with all the wax I purchased, with all the Mike Trouts that I purchased, more mail days coming next week, something has to give. So
Did you pull the trigger yet on that Mike Trout Sterling auto yet?
don't give it away. You know, don't give it away. So
I don't
maybe
think
that's
that's a secret that that is one of his more sought after cards.
Yeah.
So give us an insight to the Philmington. Third week of every month must be your busiest week. Give it how many hours would you say you work on putting the RCEBs together and getting them shipped out?
Oh, well,
Which is
updating the
obviously
website.
going to go up next month with you increasing it from 72 to 108.
Yeah, yeah. And some of it, like a lot of the aspects of this are variable, so they're going to it's going to require more work across the board. Not just packaging up the extra 36 boxes, but buying the extra product and making sure I'm able to secure that at good prices. Buying opportunistically is something that I do every day. Constantly checking eBay, constantly checking Blowout, going to shows, checking to see what they have. So there's the buying aspect of it, which I'm gonna have to do more of, scaling up, and putting together the boxes. So usually what that amounts to is maybe 8 to 10 hours of one day. I'll be able to take all the packs out of the boxes, and then I have to make sure I have them in the exact same order, and then I have to make up all the boxes because they don't come assembled. I have to make up the mailers, then I have to create the checklist sheet, and I have to make sure that there's no errors, so I have to create that again, and then I have to print out all the stickers, and then I have to cut those, then I have to put them on the boxes, and then the packing peanuts thing's kind of a pain in the ass too. I gotta, so I have to make sure that every box is appropriately filled, not too much, not too few peanuts. Then tape up the boxes. But then, as a lot of people know, all the subscription dates are staggered. They don't reset because of PayPal's subscription limitations. So, there's a time of the month where I can do like 40 at a time, but then I have to print out all the shipping labels, and with subscriptions, I have to manually type in each name. One-time orders, it's easy. I can just do it straight through PayPal and print the label from there. But it's a lot of work, man. It's at least 2 or 3 days full time of work. That doesn't include updating the website. That doesn't even include buying. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of work, man. And I said this in a recent video, like the cost of wax. I don't know if it's like the rise of interest in the hobby, or if it's just certain players are causing certain products to go up, and it happens to be all the ones that I want to buy that I think are undervalued. Like 2013 Topps Update has doubled in price. 2017 Topps Update has doubled in price, both over the last 2 or 3 months. That makes things difficult for me to continue to supply the same products. So I almost have to put in a filler pack here and there, or try to be judicious and opportunistic and what else I should buy. Like right now, every Topps Update product is really expensive, except for 2016. So maybe I should buy that, and maybe there'll be a few players out of that that'll hit, But I like to include the products when they're hot. So I'm almost like banking on a breakout before it happens.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of factors.
How many subscriptions are you up to now? How many subscriptions?
67 active subscriptions right now.
Oh, wow.
And I could have had more, but I cut it off, I think like May 10th or something, because I had already sold 5 standalone boxes to some of my close friends. So, but yeah, I mean, I'll probably have the cap at about 100 for
Awesome.
for next round, and I might hit there. I mean, a lot of people are reaching out to me. The rookie monster said he's going to double up on the rookie card explosion box and cancel all of his other subscription products. He already has 2 subscriptions, so he's going to go up to 4. So I have multiple people, 2 or 3 people that have multiple subscriptions already. Can't keep them on the shelves. I guess it's a good problem to have.
That's
but
awesome.
I might be looking at a small price increase. January of 2020 might be like a couple bucks, just so I can continue to do this in a fashion that makes sense for me and that still makes sense for you guys. So it's a lot there. So I'll get off my soapbox there.
No, I mean, congratulations with the success. I think we all saw that comment. It was a great product right from the beginning. Hey, Mike, baseball collector. Thanks for hopping on here. I know we're going to be wrapping this up soon. Before we get close things out, there was a couple. You threw these out at me last time. I want to throw a few buying or selling to you on a few of these young players around Major League Baseball right now. Now this could either be in, whether or not you're buying their baseball cards, prospecting moving forward, or for the rest of the fantasy season. There's three names I want to throw at you right here. And the first one is this Domingo Germán. Are you buying or selling him? He's at 8 wins. He leads Major League Baseball in wins. Do you see continued success for Domingo Germán, or are you selling?
Well, he's got that win potential, but it's not like he's going 7 innings much. But
you know what? The win, I don't know how the hell he's got 8 wins. The Yankees are doing it with smoke and mirrors. So you can't say they're giving him 10 runs of run support every outing. It's truly amazing what the Yankees are doing with their depleted lineup. So you would think he's just going to get more run support as the season moves along and the Yankees start to get healthy again. So I don't know. So was that a sell? It sounds to me like you're selling on him.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to keep up this pace. This is ridiculous what he's doing. What is he, like a top 10 pitcher right now?
Oh yeah, easy.
Players, Pete Alonso would say the same. I mean, you might have good success, major league success, your first run around, but I mean, they're going to make adjustments to you, so it's going to have some effect on what you're doing. I don't know how mature his pitch arsenal is. I'm guessing it's not the best. I mean, was he a guy that
he keeps the ball down? He throws strikes. I mean, he does what's asked of him.
Yeah, that's a tough ballpark. Like, you made a good point, though. I mean, the lineup right now, it's not going to give him help forever. It's Andujar's out for the season. Sanchez is on and off the DL. Judge and Stanton's banged up, and then Gleyber Torres just came back from injury, but Greg Bird's out.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. But,
I got to get the Mike, baseball collector. Two things I want to ask him. Number one, all right, he's got a question. What format are you guys on? We are on Google Hangout, Mike. I'd love to see some of your interviews on Google Hangout.
Yeah,
I know you do a lot of awesome phone interviews. I'd love to see you get some of your guests on Google Hangout. That'd be really awesome. There's really not much to it. It's fairly easy. If Phil and I can figure it out, I know you can, Mike.
Yeah, we can give you some instructions maybe to try it, but obviously this is the way to go. Instead of having like one dominant voice and like the person who's getting interviewed on the phone with like, their voice is a little muffled and can't see their face, which is a big part of YouTube. So yeah, you have to do this through a PC, which is great for us because we don't have 1,000 subscribers yet. So, but yeah, we're actually surprised people haven't asked us more about it because yeah, I know that a lot of you guys do it like the kind of the old fashioned way.
And number two, Mike, you just mentioned you're at the Cardinals-Rangers game. What the hell is going on in Texas? Am I reading this right? Did the Texas Rangers have Jose Leclerc opening the game? I don't know, Phil, if you have up the MLB app right now, but what I'm looking at right now is they have Jose Leclerc, their former closer, penciled in to start this game. He's actually in the lineup. I don't know if this is a wrong lineup I'm seeing, but they've got Jose Leclerc opening. Are the Rangers implementing the opener? Have you heard anything about this?
No.
I've got Miles Michaelis against Jose Leclerc. So Mike, baseball collector, I need you to confirm lineups. Yeah, there he goes. He says he is opening. Breaking news here on Hangout with Philmington and Jeff Airtime. Holy shit. Lone Star, baseball collector, what the hell are the Rangers doing down there in Texas?
Yeah, that is odd. Now, I wonder if this is a permanent switch, or I guess
last I heard they were going to ease him back into the closer role within a week.
Maybe this is a way to try to get him to get back on track. Or has he already been? I haven't really tracked his progress over the last few weeks. I know he's got great stuff, and he was walking like 9 guys per, you know,
You know
9
what?
innings.
I only looked at the lineup because I saw Mike mentioned he was at the game, and now I saw that they got Leclerc. I actually had to read it 2 or 3 times to make sure I was saying it right. Yeah, that's an odd move. I mean, for someone who they just gave him a lot of money in the offseason too to be their closer. I believe it was a 4-year deal. I could be wrong on that. And to have him opening, I don't. That's really odd. Wow. I really got sidetracked with that because that just really caught me by surprise.
Yeah,
Is there
yeah.
anything else we wanted to get to here, Phil?
No, Mike, baseball collector. Before you take off, let me know what's going on Friday night, the National, and Saturday night. I know you're a big gambler. You mentioned that in a previous video, but I'd rather not do that. But yeah, I could play some poker. But no, that's about it. Whoever won trivia, I'll go back and I'll look through the chat, and I know it was 3 different people, and I will get in touch with you, or even better, get in touch with me, Philmington@outlook.com. The name of my eBay store is Philmington. Really easy to remember. I know somebody asked that. That was probably like 15 minutes ago, maybe Joe iPhone or somebody right before him. But that is it for me. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Excited to go to the National, and Rookie Card Explosion Box subscribers, thank you. And Jeff, you want to say anything?
That's it. I want to thank everyone for joining us, and I hope to see everyone Sunday morning for my trivia. And yeah, that's it. Check out live tonight. Wicked Discounts is going live, and check out, of course, all my Card Crew brothers. # Card Crew. Thanks everyone for joining us.
Yeah. Check out Jab's family too. Just kidding. He sucks. Take care, guys.
Jabs does not need any shout outs. Have a great night, everybody.